don't relish in having to spend time specifically to disprove people. I mean, like granted, I don't know everything, but when I have to spend specific time out of my day to be like, hey, you know, I may not know everything, but I've got some things figured out, you know? And then I have to go, I have to go seeking for a little bit, just an eensy bit. I see for an eensy bit of trouble when I go, no, I'm gonna prove them wrong, and then because going into that set of mind, it takes me away from my family, and so it's like, is it worth it? I want to spend time with my family, but I love this thing that I do. I love doing this, and I love being able to learn something new. But I put out 2-3 videos, and we've been getting a consistent, I mean, it's been more likes than dislikes. So, I mean, I got to take that with a lot of grace and humility and be very thankful for what I do have. But also a bit of like, I don't want to be like pettiness, but like a bit of like a grain of salt, because the things that people say, they shouldn't affect me. They shouldn't affect me. Sometimes they do, and that's the nature of it. But I'm still okay, when that kind of stuff happens. It's just I'm not always the biggest fan of when it happens in response to in response to the content I make, the things I put out. So I'm very thankful that I get to be in this space, and then that I get any attention in this space, and I try to be as fair, as reasonable as possible when these things happen, and I try to come at it from a very well thought out and thoughtful side of things. I think for the most part, my videos are always in a the direction of my videos are always to address things that I see as an issue, but in a way that goes, but here's how we can fix it. Here's how it's unfair. Unfortunately, a lot of the responses I've been getting are met with, you're wrong, because when I got my polls, I now have 6 supreme characters, and or another option, which is I have a free-to-play character, and I don't have a problem with this. I don't have a problem with the current state of the game. And because I don't have a problem with the current state of the game, because my polls have been good, or from the moment I've been playing with the pure intent to get this, with an end goal in mind. Because anytime I play a game, I look at the end game, I look at the meta, and I play the meta. But at the same time, these are the exact same people who were coming at it from a perspective of, the moment Marilee and Corin weren't as viable, they were complaining, they were refunding, they were coming back and going, this isn't fair. We spent all of our resources, all of our free-to-play resources on this. But it's like everyone who is now either returned or trying to get their money back, or trying to get their money back and are still playing the game, are now going, well, now we have a say. Now we have a say in, well, we're enjoying the game now because I got the thing that I wanted back, which was I got my refund, but now I have all this progress. So now technically I'm a free to play because we mass refunded it, and now we're still playing the game. And so we have zero integrity, but at the same time, I can come at it from a perspective of, I can tell free to players how to feel and how to do things. And so I think there's this big skew of opinions right now where a lot of people, I think, are coming at it from a perspective of rules for thee, but not for me. Like, when it happens to other people, their polls are just like, they're doing something wrong. It's not that they got unlucky with polls. It's not that they're doing the right thing, but it's just very unfair, and things are skewed very unfairly against them. It's that they're doing something wrong. And so that's my personal issue, what I'm taking. But all that said, I'm not dissuaded. I don't feel like that I shouldn't be making content. I don't feel like I've said anything wrong. I don't feel like I've said anything unfairly. All I want to say is, from now on, moving forward, I'm always going to come at it from a perspective of I'm looking and researching into the metas. I don't talk the numbers because numbers isn't my game. I think there's very little value in content creators who create like guides and tutorials based off of like, oh, here's the numbers. I'm just going to read you the descriptions. Here's the meta team that everyone's talking about, that everyone's already said once. I'm just going to try to be the first one to put it out. I think those kind of guides are fine, but they don't last long. I think what has value is exposing the things that feel unfair and that they're skewed unfairly, and then coming at it from a fresh perspective of, I haven't played a lot of gachas, but I know what fair gameplay should look like, and I know what reasonable gameplay should look like, and this isn't it. And so a lot of people, for example, looked at some of my Dreamrail team and told me, like, you're not doing the right thing. Guys, like, I'm following the same exact meta guides that you are. I'm trying just as much variations. I'm trying 7 out of 7 to get my Dream Realm completed. And yes, while there is some gaps in my understanding of why they're the best, trust me, I'm trying all variations. And people look at one team variation that I tried and I go, well, this must be the case for everything that you're doing. So all I was trying to show when I'm showing stuff like that is going, I'm doing this and I'm trying to play the characters that have worked for me in the past, and they're no longer working because now I'm just in seasonal realm and it's just not doing enough damage to even clear. And it's like, what happens? Like, oh, okay, I need to increase my levels 100 levels. Is that all I need to do? And it's like, well, no, in reality, I just need to ascend my characters and get them their EX weapons, but I can't do that because a lot of that stuff is locked behind rewards, which require you to perform at a much higher caliber. You need to do better in arenas. You need to do better so you can get more arena tokens. You need to do better in Dream Realm so you can get more Dream Realm, the little tiers, so you can get more ascension tokens. So all these things are very like it's like a cascading effect of cause and cause and effect. But a lot of people are just looking at me saying like, this is the effect of everything that's been happening up until this point, and they go, no, you must have done something wrong. This didn't happen for me this way. And I'm talking from a perspective of, it's unfair to be like, oh, you're a brand new player, because you're a brand new player and you messed up and you started pulling for characters that aren't good until Supreme, when you should be pulling for characters that are good by Mythic Plus or even pre-Mythic Plus. Because you didn't do that, you can't have an account that can actually clear content. You can't play characters that you enjoy or meta or comps that you enjoy because they only work for this. For example, the one that was offered up a lot was Kruger, and I'm like, well, my Kruger's at Legendary. You know, I mean, I've put him on the list a couple times, but a lot of the Mauler crew on Wishlist the slots are taken up because Odie, Entendre, Coco, Brutus, even Smokey and Mirky, as well as Shaker, kind of they've swapped in or taken priority as well. There's so many Maulers that are good that I didn't have Kruger at the time because he's only good really in Dream Realm. From the metacops I've seen, you can swap them in a lot of places in Dream Realm, but other places not as much. And when you're free to play, you have a lot of options, of course, but there's very few correct options for the maximum output. And that's what min-maxing is. And so if I'm truly trying to min-max and get the most of what my free-to-play experience is, then I need to basically pick the characters who give the most. But I'm figuring this out as I go. So there is things that I'm still learning. And a lot of people provided a lot of useful comments for me, and I'm very thankful for that. But a lot of people came at it from a perspective of, I'm going to tell you what to do, you're wrong, and don't tell me my game isn't good because you didn't get good pulls. And I was like, for me, that's a bit delusional, and it's a bit misfairly cited because you're coming at it from a perspective of everyone's right except me, and you're not looking at it from a perspective of, well, maybe there is some flaws. And I think it's the sunk cost fallacy, but I think it's also people who played this game a long time thinking that everyone thinks just like them and nobody can think otherwise. Otherwise, it's antithetical to their point, or otherwise you're telling them they're wrong. And it's like, why can't both be true? Why can't like your side of things be the way you should do things, but the way you should do things should be easily accessible, easily changeable, and I should be able to go from my way to your way fairly and still enjoy the game. And a lot of people are figuring these things out as they go as well, and they're not being totally honest. Like, for example, for a while, I didn't understand the value in someone like Coraline. I didn't understand the value in someone like who's another good one who wasn't that great. At least it didn't become that, like Sylvina. But I do now. But when you play with her in the beginning, it's like why is none of this working? And a lot of people who told me to pick out for Rainier. Of course I picked for Rainier. Everyone's telling me to. I even got a second copy. Now he's Epic Plus. But then it's like, well, we have another Celestial Hypogean hero, Freysto, coming out. I want to pull for that. I want to try that out. But it's like, okay, that takes away from Rainier. Now everyone's pulling for or saving up for Talene. But at the same exact time, it's like everyone up until this point was telling me to get Rainier's to 3+. Now I have to do this one because this is the best character to be released for quite some time. So it's like it's very unfair, and a lot of people I don't think are thinking from a perspective other than their own. And while nobody has to do that, I think if you're gonna judge people and you're gonna treat people like really like they're morons, then you have to give people that little bit of grace. I think that's only fair. So that's all I wanted to say about that. We're going to talk more about this, but I want to get into our reactions. For those of you who are watching this, if you've ever been negative in my comments, I bear no ill will towards any of you. I may have responded in a not so nice way, but my intent is to get my point across. And if you came at me with a bad attitude, I'm going to come back at you with a bad attitude. I'm going to be petty. Just know that I've been working to catch up on everything, 100% my zones, 100% as many quests as I can possible, get as many characters as quickly as possible to Mythic plus Supreme. I now have 2 Mythic plus and then 1 Supreme, but now I'm experiencing the issue of I don't have enough of the yellow gems to level up my EX weapon, but I am working on it. But just know I'm working to build these things up to max as quickly as possible, despite only being about a month, like 6 weeks into the game. I'm about 6 weeks into playtime right now. So I am trying to catch up on people who are 80 days game time and plus. So bear with me. These things will improve. As always, if you like the video, give it a like, subscribe to the page, comments, but also check out our stream. We get a lot of you guys in YouTube. I would love to see you on the stream. We stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 p.m. CET. That's European time. I'm actually military stationed overseas, so that's why my time zone's so weird. So it's pretty much around lunchtime for most of you guys in the US. I'd love to see you guys live in the stream. I'd love to see you guys, of course, back in my videos if you're liking the videos. And then, of course, as always, may fortune favor your journey. I'll see you in the next one.